would you say that you are using AI almost as a personal assistant?
I not so much. I don't know how to use that though, because I think for me it will be a little bit scary.
Yeah. Now, I think a lot of people would agree with you because a lot of people have been wondering, especially recently with all the budget discussions,
Mm-hmm.
is AI going to take over my job?
Yes,
And if
yes.
we keep using AI, are we eventually training it to steal our jobs
To
away
replace
from
us,
us?
right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I get that a lot from the people that I work with as well. They're often asking me, like, as an employee, how do I AI prove myself?
Welcome back to the Work It podcast. It's me, Nat, here with my co-host Gerald, and here to unpack what agentic AI means for everyday workers is Sabrina Wang. She's a tech entrepreneur. Welcome to the podcast, Sabrina.
Thank you.
So help me understand this buzzword I've been seeing a lot lately, agentic AI. How different is that from the regular use of like ChatGPT, for example?
Okay, so like ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini, right? These are more like prompt based. So you ask a question, it answers you. But agentic AI is that it can actually do the work for you. So think of it like, a bit like your teammate where you can actually give the processes and it can actually run the processes for you.
I ask this because a lot of people that I know are already starting to use ChatGPT, or Gemini or Perplexity, any one of these various generative AI platforms. But how does one begin to start using agentic AI or begin tapping into that?
I think before a person actually jumps into agentic AI, right, is actually to get the basis of prompting first. Because the thing is that I think until today, right, people are still not fully utilizing the prompt engine in the first place. ChatGPT has this agent mode, right? So using agent mode itself, you can actually ask it like every morning to script through certain information so that you're actually able to utilize it on a daily basis. One of the things that I did was that I got ChatGPT every morning to actually run through the crypto trading for me to just see, like how the market is doing. So every morning I get the alerts from
Oh.
it. So you can actually do that on Perplexity or Gemini as well. So they have some sequencing that you can actually do. Not fully agentic, but good enough. So agentic would be slightly further. Once you understand like your workflows really well, right? You'll be able to create like AI agents to actually help you run through the whole day's workflow. Like early in the morning, right? My AI would welcome my community, engaging with them basically. Then after that, you check through my emails, you read my social media, and then give me updates. So I set the AI in a way that it will first inform me, confirm with me before it executes. Because I also have this worry of, like, what if it starts doing weird things, without me knowing, and then it becomes a problem there.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like, think of it like when you are actually guiding through your intern, right? So you guide through the processes, and then after that, at the start, right, get your intern to actually confirm with you before, like doing anything. And after a while, right, give the autonomy to the intern to actually run it on its own.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So you're actually treating AI like a person. That's what agentic AI is kind of like.
I think not exactly a person, but more like an assistant. An
Okay.
assistant that will not complain about anything on Glassdoor.
What made you decide to do this? Was there like a certain event or situation where you thought to yourself like, I think it's important to create this assistant today.
So actually, this one goes back a little bit further, right? So as a kid, right, I watched RoboCop. And because I watched RoboCop, I have always wanted to like build my own robot, right? Years later, you have Marvel, right, that had Iron Man, and Iron Man had Jarvis, right? So I've always wanted to have my own Jarvis. So when AI kind of started to pick up and, the LLMs are there, I wanted to create like my own AI. So I decided to create like Serafina for myself.
Wow.
And
Serafina. That's the name of your
correct,
Your,
yeah.
your Jarvis.
your
Yeah.
My
Jarvis.
Jarvis,
Oh
correct.
wow.
So if someone were to use this, let's say myself, what would that look like in practice? Would I spend like a whole month training it and then another month watching it do its thing, and then on the third month then let it run and do its own thing while just focusing on other tasks?
the speed can be a little bit faster.
Okay.
Okay, because for example, let's say you want it to actually check through your emails, right? So just think about like when you're checking through the emails, what do you filter for? Okay, then have that discussion with your AI so that it understands the different filtering processes, and after that, ask it to repeat to you. Okay, if this process is accurate, and once it has repeated to you, confirm it and then get it to run. So it just needs to run like once or twice, and you kind of know that okay, it will work already. Then of course, to be safe, you can let it run for 1-2 days first. If everything is smooth, then this is a confirmed process. You can move on to the next process.
So just 1 week.
Yeah, within
Under
1 week
under 1 week.
can be doing a lot of my tasks already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
can it host this podcast for me? Probably not. I hope not.
yeah, but the important thing is if today it does get to do so much of your work, right? Then what would you do? Like does it create more work, new work for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is the thing. As it repeats tasks, right, it gives humans more space to actually create new ideas. So it actually makes you think more, like do less, but you need to think more.
Yeah, wow.
Okay. Have you seen situations in which, employees start using agentic AI to automate some of their more mundane tasks, and then their boss just keeps putting task on task on task on top of them because they're like, oh, but one of your things is already being done by your AI, so you can do one more thing. For those people that are encountering that or might encounter that, how would they navigate that situation with their boss?
I think it's important to have that conversation with your boss
Okay.
first, because the thing is that, like humans being humans, right? When they see that, okay, so you have a little bit more bandwidth, they will try to give you more things to
Yes.
do to kind of like maximize the bandwidth, right? But I think thinking and actually doing are really two different processes, and also it takes two different time frames. When it comes to thinking, right, there's no definite conclusion that, oh, I give you an hour, give me a solution for something that has not been solved before. That's not possible, because it might take, for some people, it might take more than an hour. Some people might even take weeks to think about the solution. So having that conversation with your boss, right, sometimes because of like personal biasness, emotions, right, it makes it also difficult to have that conversation. In this kind of situations, I would actually talk to my AI about it, give it context, let it
Okay.
know like, okay, so this is the situation. Because I'm assigning so many things to you, so I have more bandwidth. So now my boss is telling me that, like, he wants me to do XYZ. So how do I have this conversation that, like XYZ is not the same as ABC? The time required is actually different. But I don't know how to say that in a way that, it makes sense to my boss, because my boss is XYZ kind of character. So can you maybe, based off this context, kind of guide me through how do I have this conversation?
Wow, that's a very interesting use case. I'm like
Yeah.
having your AI agent to coach you on how to have that career conversation with your boss, because the AI agent is in the picture.
Yeah.
Wow. My mind is like wrapping several rounds around it. Like, wow, the possibilities is almost infinite.
Yeah, but I am also wary of the fact that not everybody has a job in which requires such creative or high level ideation, right? A lot of people have jobs that are a lot of doing, and I wonder whether this new surge of agentic AI is going to eventually push these people out of the market, because then these agentic AIs can eventually just do these jobs for these people.
Yeah.
And it would probably be cheaper to run than having to hire a human being. Is that going to be the case, do you think?
Humans are adaptive, right? They can become the operator of the AI. It's the same as, in the future, right? We would probably have cars that drive on its own, but you probably still need the operator to kind of like come up with the roadmap navigations for the different cars to be at different locations where they pick up passengers and things like that. So the human becomes more like a QC, a quality control person, rather than the person that is actually doing the like the sweeping of the floor or the data entry work.
I think we are still seeing this thing unfold, because I think there's a lot of fear about how this the introduction of AI agents it will kind of diminish the fresh graduates,
Yeah.
the employment opportunities. It certainly seems that way based on what you are sharing as well, possibly, but also means that the fresh graduates will need to have better skills in utilizing the AI, in knowing how to apply those AI into the workplaces, the work context. Is that what you're saying?
For fresh graduates wise, right? they would actually need to pick up some of these AI skills because, it's like in the past, right? If you have Excel skills, right, then you are more in demand, right? So now you probably need to have AI skills. And if the company is, let's say, under the Google ecosystem and you have, Google AI skills, then you are more in demand as compared to someone that is, under the Microsoft Copilot kind of ecosystem.
So for someone who's like totally new to this and they want to get on the AI agent bandwagon, how can they pick up some of these skills?
So surprisingly, right, there is a lot of programs out there that actually teaches that. And one of the cheat codes here is also getting your AI to teach you on that.
But I am also thinking, because we've seen a lot of, let's call it flack online for companies that maybe use AI in not the best way right now, where they perhaps do graphic design with AI, or they use AI in creative pursuits. Now, it's quite frowned upon at this moment, right? It could change, but is there a line in which you should draw that your agentic AI should and shouldn't do in terms of tasks?
Actually, I feel that this is really on a very individual basis. Like, for example, right, a graphic designer, right? Whether you are using AI or you're actually using the Adobe Creative Suite, you are actually still using technology to do your job, right?
Okay.
I think the thing here about creativity is not really on the pure execution of it. It's not like you're painting something. You're literally doing it digitally anyway, right? So why not make it a little bit faster? But the concept here of creativity is the concept, which AI cannot produce that concept per se. It can only execute your concept based off what you have said. So that's why the whole conversation about, like authenticity of your voice when you do content and things like that, right? It really depends on the person. So you can't tell the AI to actually generate the whole post for you based off like one title, right? But you could be also authentic about it and give it pointers and give it, a little bit more details and basically use the AI to become like the editor that actually helps you to better craft those messaging.
To quell any potential fears in any of our listeners or viewers who may be worried that AI or agentic AI will cause them to lose a job, how can they start future-proofing themselves now? What concrete steps can they take today?
Okay, so the budget came out, right? And then the government is actually helping us to better understand how AI works. So taking up programs like this will help, but nothing helps better than really just hopping onto it. Okay, just pick a software, ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini, any software, and then just start talking to it. So when it comes to AI, it's all about communication. And if you notice, right, the more you actually start talking and delegating work to your AI, you will also notice that you tend to become better at communicating and delegating work to other humans as well.
Because you've learned better how to explain certain things, how to instruct. So you're not just building up an AI to help you, you're helping yourself become a better manager or leader as well.
Correct, exactly.
I heard that from some people who use AI as well. They said that they realized initially when they tried to give it instructions, how come the output is so different? They realized that they're making wrong instructions. And then they've been using these wrong instructions to inform real human beings.
At the end of the day, I guess it's communication, whether to AI or humans. Thanks so much, Sabrina, for joining us for this conversation today.
Thank you so much. It was really very fruitful.
Hey, welcome back to our Ask Work It segment of the podcast. If you have a question that you're struggling with in the workplace and you have no one to turn to help you with your problems, why not turn to us? You can write in or you can comment wherever you're listening from. Today, Gerald, we have a question sent in by a listener by the name of Jasmine. Now, Jasmine says that she works in an MNC and recently realized that her company has a use it or lose it policy with its leave. So she didn't manage to clear all of her leave because of workload, and her remaining days were forfeited at the end of the year. What confuses her is that her overseas colleagues in the same organization seem to be able to carry forward their leave for many years without losing it. So now she's wondering and she's asking, why is her local employer allowed to forfeit leave that she didn't even have the time to take? And is this fair? Have you seen this happen a lot, Gerald?
Maybe not so much, because most of the companies, they will have equal, the same HR policy across maybe even different markets most of the time. But there are some situations where some companies in other markets, they may have different policies. Right? Some might allow you to accumulate your leave. Some would want you to clear faster, cannot take beyond 1 year. So I think sometimes you really have to check your handbook.
Right.
Yeah, and don't check, maybe no point to check other people's handbook.
Is it normal though for someone in one country to have a different leave policy to someone in another country in the same company?
It happens, yes.
Okay.
It happens. So, for example, in some countries, they have different labor laws.
Okay.
They may have the company themselves in another part of the world may want to promote certain type of culture. For example, there are places where they allow employees to take sabbaticals, so they can accumulate their leave for that. For that reason, maybe after you work 2 years, you can go on, I don't know, like a 6 months leave, so you can clock up your leave for that. But I think in Singapore, most of the time I see the companies would want you to take regular leave and not accumulate too long.
I have had instances where I'm coming up to the last week of the financial year or the calendar year, and I still haven't taken a few leave dates yet.
How come you don't take regularly?
This is a question for a different net. But what my manager or sometimes HR would tell me to do is, hey, how about we take it as you've taken the leave, just for our system, and in the new FY we give you more time to take paper leave. So you can just take it as off in lieu.
It's like a trust basis.
It's on a trust basis a little bit. Like, you don't have to apply in the system because it's already taken. And your manager is the one who tracks. Like, okay, you haven't used 5, so you got 5 more to use. Try use within this month. See your workload, whether you're able to take some time off.
But I'm a big believer of taking regular leave. When I was working much earlier, I used to take regular leave like once a week.
Yeah.
So I'll have like a 4-day work week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wait, could you do that? There's 52 weeks in a year. How do you?
So I don't have 52 days. So
Okay.
like maybe 1 month I take 2 days off lah. And then I'll pick my favorite days. But if I don't feel like working on a Monday, then I would not come in on Monday, right?
Right.
If I want to have like a little shorter week, Friday, it makes me at least feel like I'm taking care of myself. And in the long run, it makes me also make sure that I'm more productive in the time that I'm in at work.
Right.
So I'm a big believer of like using your leave intermittently. And of course, you want to accumulate some of them, say for the 7 days or 14 days, to go overseas. Then fine, you have to do that. But with the leftover days or off in lieu days, or your birthday leave or whatever leave you have, right? I think you try not to keep it.
Yeah. I can understand for some people though who like to stock up on leaves, and they don't want to use leaves on days where they're just going to be at home. They want to use leaves for when they're going on holiday, going overseas. Maybe their friends getting married in a different time zone and they want to fly over for a week or something. But for the days that they are kind of just taking time off from work, they feel very hesitant to use their leaves.
I belong to the group that if I take leave to go overseas, I need a leave from that leave.
Yeah.
Because I'll come back, I'm tired, and so for me, like having that little bit of space, and even just chilling in Singapore, right? Like going for a staycation or just spend a day out doing something fun. I find that that's quite refreshing actually. What you mentioned is a valid point there. There are a lot of us, we cannot switch off work when we are in Singapore.
Yeah.
I think that's a big problem. And hopefully we get to overcome that sooner.
So going back to Jasmine,
Yeah.
her question, is this fair?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it's not your employee handbook, right?
Yeah.
You don't work in that market.
So
and if
is there something that she can do though, or is this because she already cannot take those leaves that she has forfeited?
maybe Jasmine will need to talk to a HR person and to see what can be worked out. Normally HR people, they're really afraid of setting precedents. Right, so especially when if it's within the company, I think you can still say, within the company in Singapore, I think you can still try to find some wiggle room around. But if it's overseas market, I think it's easier for them to just to say that applies there, it doesn't apply here.
Right.
And it's always been like that.
So it depends where the boss's boss is based. Like, is this a Singapore company with international presence or a foreign company with a Singapore presence?
Yes. That said, of course, we don't know whether the other foreign market, the other foreign office, whether they actually have the same policy, just that they implemented it differently.
It might be like a not written on pen on paper kind of policy
Yes.
where the manager is just a little bit more lenient with
Yes.
their workers. Okay.
Yes, I think if I were in the shoes, I think go to talk to the HR manager a little bit and see where can you have some wiggle room. Sometimes, you can get, if that's a valid reason, like you really, really cannot take the leave even you wanted to. Not, it wasn't like you forgot, or you're trying to encash your leave. So I think that maybe they can find some workaround for you.
Okay. So for those people who might be in Jasmine's situation or potentially reaching Jasmine's situation, because we are coming up to what is regularly the end of the FY, how could they confront their manager, their HR person, or their boss to ask for leniency or to ask to be able to carry forward the several days of leave that they didn't take?
The reason behind why you need to have this extension to bring forward your leave, I think you need to have a very clear reason why it is so. And of course, don't let it drag for another year beyond that. You make sure that you consume all the leave as best as you can. Make sure that you just start the conversation earlier. But I also know managers will reach out to you, say, guys, you got to clear your leave. Just remember, because some of these things get flagged out, so then it doesn't look good for the department as well. Yeah, so start the conversation early, and make sure that you have a plan. You have a plan to clear it soon.
Right. Okay, well, Jasmine, it looks like you're in a tough situation. We hope that you're able to work this out with your manager, with your boss. Maybe don't compare so much with people in other markets, but try to get the best deal you can for yourself within your own situation. For the rest of you guys listening or watching, if like Jasmine, you have a work-related dilemma, why not write to us? We are at cnapodcast@mediacorp.com.sg.
I'm Gerald.
And I'm Nat. Plan your leave like your bosses plan your deadlines.